Lil Scrappy had always been a staple of love and hip hop Atlanta, known for his rough edges, fiery temper, and loyalty to the people in his circle. For years, fans had watched his tumultuous journey unfold on screen, his ups and downs with his family, relationships, and career. But nothing could have prepared the world for the day when Scrappy's own actions would lead to his fall from grace. It all started during a particularly heated argument with Khaotic, a fellow cast member who had never been shy about speaking his mind. Khaotic, known for his brash attitude and willingness to stir up trouble, had found himself at odds with Scrappy over something small that quickly spiraled out of control. Words were exchanged, insults hurled, and what started as a disagreement soon escalated into a full-blown confrontation. Scrappy, who had always been known for his quick temper, was at his breaking point. As the tension rose, the two men exchanged sharp words, but it was Scrappy's threats that would ultimately seal his fate. In a moment of anger, he threatened Khaotic in a way that went beyond mere words. His tone was menacing, and the words themselves left little to interpretation. The producers and crew, who had been present during the scene, were shocked. This wasn't just another heated argument. This was a man who had crossed a line. Behind the cameras, things moved quickly. The Love and Hip Hop franchise had a zero-tolerance policy when it came to threats and violence. What was meant to be reality television had always operated under the guise of chaos and drama. But there were limits. Scrappy's outburst had crossed those limits, and it didn't take long for the powers that be to make their decision. Scrappy, who had been one of the show's most recognizable faces, found himself out of a job. The firing wasn't immediate, but it was swift. The decision was made after careful consideration of the impact it could have on the show's reputation, as well as the safety of the cast and crew. For Scrappy, it was a devastating blow. He had been a part of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta since the very beginning, and the show had been integral to his career. The platform had given him a chance to showcase his music, his life, and his complicated relationships with his family. But now, all of that was at risk, all because of a moment of weakness. As the news broke, fans were torn. Some were furious with Scrappy for losing his temper and causing trouble, while others expressed disappointment in how quickly the show had taken action. It was a reflection of the fine line reality stars often walk between entertainment and personal consequences. For Scrappy, the firing meant more than just the end of a television stint. It was a reminder of the cost of his anger and his inability to control it in a moment of passion. In the days that followed, Scrappy remained quiet, taking the time to reflect on his actions. His public persona had always been one of bravado and confidence. But behind the scenes, the reality of what had happened began to settle in. He had hurt himself and, in turn, hurt his career. Khaotic, on the other hand, remained unaffected by the fallout. He continued to appear on the show, but the tension between him and Scrappy lingered in the background. The show would go on without Scrappy, but for the first time in a long time, the spotlight was no longer on him. For Scrappy, the lesson was hard but necessary. The anger that had once served him as a shield now stood as a barrier to his success. The loss of his spot on Love and Hip Hop was a turning point, a reminder of the consequences of letting his emotions take control.